No doubt, if you follow my content, you've heard me talk about the importance of using a PAR meter to measure your lighting. Recently, I've been seeing more and more PAR meters available on my phone's app store. So in this video, I wanted to download the same PAR meter onto 3 different cell phones, and I'm gonna test them against an actual PAR meter. What I thought to be true was true, and I just prove it throughout this video so I can save you a little bit of time if you're wondering if you should go buy a PAR meter or if you should just download one on your phone. The answer to that is you should go buy a PAR meter, and really here's why, to put it simply. PAR meters see all of the photosynthetically active radiation. That's what PAR stands for, and this is all the radiation, all of the light waves, the different wavelengths of light that a plant can actually use and chlorophyll can absorb for photosynthesis. And those fall on this spectrum. And a lot of these actually fall outside of the visible light wave spectrum for the human eye. Because we're not talking about the light waves that we can see, we're talking about the light waves that a plant uses to grow. So the sensor inside of this PAR meter is completely different than the sensor inside of this cell phone. But either way, we still downloaded the PAR meters onto the phone and we still ran the tests, even though these PAR meters are really just made for measuring luminosity, lux, and these are actually made for measuring PAR. So right off the bat, this isn't gonna give you your actual PAR. That's impossible. What this does is this uses the sensor inside of the phone, which is a really good sensor. It's a light meter sensor, and they just make a calculation based off of their best guess, basically, and we'll find out in this video just how off that best guess is, and if one cell phone brand is better than another cell phone brand. Because here I have the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, I also have the Apple iPhone 16 Max Pro, and I have a $120 Motorola super cheap phone that I just wanted to throw out there as a bit of a wild card. So those are the phones that I'm going to be using, and the control is this PAR meter that I picked up off of Amazon that, well, it does use a phone as an interface, but that's okay. We'll just measure them all individually. So what we're going to do is we're going to set them all up at equal distances that we've measured away from my AC Infinity Evo 10 grow light. This is a 1000 watt grow light. It'll have plenty of photons to be throwing at these light meters. So I've measured the distance at 4 feet away from the light, and I marked a spot out on this tray where I'm gonna make sure that all our meters are setting so that we get equal readings. And here we go. And we'll start with the Samsung. And just for consistency, I made sure to download the same light meter app. And I noticed that I was actually getting in the way here, so I had to back up a little bit and reach in, take a screenshot to get the actual PPFD. And on the Samsung S25 Ultra, it came in at 785 ppfd. Now let's measure it on the iPhone 16 Ultra. And that one's coming in higher at 841 ppfd. And just a note, actually, first I read with the iPhone and it came in at 2044 ppfd, so I had to reset the entire application and open it back up again to get that 841. I don't know why it came in. I wiped the screen off and I cleaned the lens a little bit, and I think that must have helped. All right, so now let's try the cheap Motorola. That one's coming in at 799 ppfd. Okay, so the phones all came in at a fairly reliable PPFD of high 700s to low 800s. It looks like the two Androids were much closer. The Apple was a bit higher and odd, reading the 2044 initially. But honestly, that doesn't really tell us much of anything because we don't know what the PPFD is actually supposed to be. So let's bust out the actual PAR meter and see what the PPFD is on the PAR meter. Looks like it's at 439 U-moles. That seems a lot lower than what our phones were getting, and that makes a lot of sense. And just to make sure my PAR meter wasn't off, I wanted to test the PAR meter against what the manufacturer says on the PPFD map for this light. So let's bust out the PPFD map for the Evo 10. It says that about 18 inches away, I should be around 1800 PPFD. So I'm gonna measure 18 inches away and use my meter, try to get to the center here the best that I can. And I'm gonna finagle this while I take a screenshot. And okay, To be honest, I might have gone up a little bit because the screenshot's coming in a little more hot than what the manufacturer says at 1,996 U-moles. But when we're that close to the light and I'm trying to just measure it by hand, even going up 1 inch can make a really, really big difference when we're that close to a light this powerful. So there's a good chance that I accidentally raised my hand up when I was trying to take the screenshot. But I did see on the screen when I was holding it that it was hovering right around the 1800 range. So we'll call that accurate. That seems to be right where the manufacturer says it would be, in the 1800, 1900 range for 18 inches away. So I'm gonna say the PPFD meter is accurate. That means that the phones are not accurate at all. So that is a claim debunked. These phone PAR meters are absolutely phony. They don't measure PAR at all. They measure luminosity and then try to do a conversion. And as we know, lumens are for humans, PAR is for plants. So we want photosynthetically active radiation, right? So make sure you pick up a PAR meter. I'll have this one linked up in the description box below. If you're the kind of person that gets more out of hands-on, step-by-step courses, then you're gonna wanna check out my 2 courses. I have Step into Hydro, which is a mini course that teaches you everything that you're gonna need to know to get started with hydroponic indoor cannabis cultivation. And then I have my flagship course, the 1 Pound Plant. This is a complete education that's gonna teach you everything that you would need to know to go from seed to harvest to pull a complete 1 pound plant with an indoor growth environment. This course contains 40 lessons, and each lesson comes with its own video, a guide, checklists, and action steps to keep you growing. So if either of those sound like a direction you want to head in and you want to start having big, dense harvests, then make sure you check out the links in the description box below. And until the next video, let's grow together. And if you are like a lot of people right now, moving your gardens inside, beginning to start your indoor hydroponic gardening journey, then I encourage you to check out humblegrowthhydroponics.com. You'll find all of my free guides over there. Below the guides, you'll also find Master Your Tower Garden, my complete 14-part tower garden mastery course, as well as the School of Hydroponics, where you will master indoor hydroponics, lighting, full control growth environments. You will learn how to turn your home into an oasis of food for you and your loved ones. So make sure you check out humblegrowthhydroponics.com, and until the next video, let's grow together.